days to the D-Day, political parties go for final push to cover more ground. No going back on deadline for old Naira notes. CBN governor speaks. Lawyers go on academic exercise on Supreme Court ruling.
We're trying to make things good for our country.
A competent court of law had ordered that it should be, so it is shocking.
Hello and a warm welcome to NTA Network News at 9. I'm Ian Ray John and we're live in Abuja. Hingino John Adams joins me from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. And just to let you know that you can watch this news live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now and other social media platforms displayed on your screen for updates. The Central Bank of Nigeria says there is no need to further extend the February 10, 2023 deadline for the redesigned 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes, as modalities have been put in place to adequately punish those subverting the process. The governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, who addressed members of the diplomatic community in Abuja, says Nigeria desires to have a seamless, cashless process like it's obtained in their countries and needs their support. Leah Katung Babatunde has the report.
There has been a raging controversy since the commencement of the Naira redesign policy. Some governors had approached the Supreme Court on the matter, in which the Apex Court placed a hold on the process till 15th February 2023. These gathering of diplomats at the instance of the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN is to intimate them on the process and seek their support. While acknowledging the suffering of Nigerians, Governor Godwin Emefiele observed that gains of the effective implementation of the policy outweighs the pains that could scrap 4% of the nation's inflation numbers.
This is achievable as data from our market sources indicate that prices of grains and key staples around Suleja, Lambata markets, for instance, have generally been on the downward trend since the beginning of this policy. The price of soybeans has dropped from 30,000 to 22,000, maize from 18 to 16,000, and the bull from 400,000 to 330,000.
He said the financial system is adequately able to address the concerns being faced in the cashless process, and those subverting it will face the consequences of their actions.
We're trying to make things good for our country. We cannot allow even some of our countrymen who want to get involved in illegal and illicit kind of businesses to truncate our efforts and in making the country a good place. They will be arrested. We've seen videos of people who are also stamping money on people in parties, and we have said it is illegal.
The Apex Bank maintained that the amount being recalled is not the same that will be plowed back, as no one should hold large volumes of cash outside the banking system. The meeting then went behind closed doors, and eventually they filed out, and no one spoke to the press afterwards. In Abuja, Leah Katumba today, NTA News.
And still on the redesigned notes, for some time now, the difficulty being experienced by Nigerians in swapping their old Naira notes for the new ones has unsettled many people. Now, this is because despite the Supreme Court's interim injunction that the old currency temporarily remains legal tender, many deposit banks refuse to exchange them. Some legal practitioners speak on the implications of the bank's disobedience to the Apex Court's order.
Come up with a decision extending the lifespan of the old currency from February 10th to 15th. So it's shocking for anybody to say that it ceases to be legal tender before the date that a competent court of law had ordered that it should be. So it is shocking. And that undermines the rule of law in this country. The CBN, by my opinion, has a moral obligation to respect that decision of the Supreme Court. Because if everybody decides to ignore the decision of the Apex Court, whether it affects them or whether they are parties or not.
Under normal circumstances, one would have expected that all authorities, agencies of government will comply. The decision of the Supreme Court arises from what I want to regard as a public interest litigation that has been taken to the Supreme Court in order to reduce the tension in the land. And I think that if that decision, if that ruling of the Supreme Court has not achieved anything, it has achieved the desire to ensure that that tension is reduced. So those who are arguing that the central bank is not a party to the suit, or that the federal government is not a party, or whoever is not a party to the suit, are doing so because they want to create and cause mischief in the land.
Hearing on the matter is slated for this Wednesday at the Supreme Court. Away from the issues surrounding the Naira, the Imo State Council of Traditional Rulers has conferred on President Muhammadu Buhari a traditional title of Nwanne Dinamba in appreciation of his genuine love for the Southeast and sustained legacy of promoting peace and harmony in the country. This was while leading members of the APC Presidential Campaign Council on a courtesy visit to Eze Imo in Owerri. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has the report.
This is the third time President Muhammadu Buhari will be visiting the Eastern Heartland in the last 5 months, although this time to canvass support for the election of his party's presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. For Governor Hope Uzodinma, this opportunity cannot slip by without showcasing yet another landmark sundry project executed by his administration. Inaugurating the 12.5-kilometer MCC road, President Buhari commended the governor for keying into his administration's infrastructural development drive, especially in fixing critical roads that suffered neglect in the past. During a courtesy visit to the State Council of Eze Emmanuel Chukwagina Okeke conferred on the president a prestigious title of Nwanne Dinamba, meaning a brother in the diaspora. The Valentine's Day honor, he said, reflects a new level of relationship inspired by President Buhari's selfless leadership, integrity, and magnanimous disposition.
It is our sincere belief that the conferment of this chieftaincy title will encourage and to continue his good work and the harmonious relationship with the good people of Imo State.
Actually, words are not enough for me to express how indeed grateful for you. Where do we start? Is it the nightmare that you have removed from our eyes, going from Olu to Owerri, or that of Okigwe to Owerri, or that of Umuahia to Owerri, and now MCC Road? Is it the upgrade of Avaniko College of Education to a federal university? Is it the setting up of a new naval base in Oguta? Today, we fought crude oil theft to a standstill in Imo State.
Thank you very much for the honor Your Majesty bestowed on me today. I will proudly say it through the rest of my life. Thank you very much.
President Buhari used the opportunity to sell his party's presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to the royal fathers.
Our presidential candidate, whom I am accompanying here, is our choice. Please back him. Your votes, understanding and respect is very, very important.
I will definitely try to concentrate on our unity, development, and camaraderie that will promote peace and stability of the country.
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu promised to follow the footsteps of President Muhammadu Buhari when elected, saying, with renewed hope, the nation's unity, stability, and development will be consolidated for a sustainable future. From Owerri, Imo State, Adam Musambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has sought the support of the people of the Southeast for the APC presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu. It was at the presidential campaign rally in Owerri, rounding off the party's rally in the Southeast. Musbao Dan Wahab reports.
This is the 7th appearance of President Buhari at his party's campaign rally, projecting his prospective successor, Bola Tinubu. Getting into the hearts of voters in the southeast is the mission, and APC loyalists made their presence felt at the eastern heartland. Hosting the renewed Hope team, Governor Hope Uzodinma says the turnout here was to appreciate President Buhari for his support towards various developmental projects in Imo State and the southeast.
You have worked so hard to be able to control and manage the high-level insecurity that visited the Imo State and indeed the southeast. Mr. President, we are indeed very grateful.
Having received these encomiums, the president is now seeking support for his preferred candidate for continuity.
We are very grateful for your support, and God willing, Aswaju is going to be delivered as the next president of the Federal Republic.
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu commended the president for various landmark projects across the country, including the East-West Road and infrastructure renewal. He promised to uphold and build on the legacy of President Buhari if elected.
Incorruptible principle of Muhammadu Buhari will continue. We are not seeking the booty of office to assist for a good life. We are going to prudently manage and increase your revenue generation capacity.
We have come to solicit for your votes. We have come to solicit for your support. And vote on February 25th for our presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Imo State has more than 2.4 million registered voters on which APC relies to prove its local and national popularity at the polls. From Owerri, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
And still talking politics, presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar says actualization of his mandate come February 25th will be a stepping stone for an Igbo presidency in Nigeria. The former vice president made a pledge while addressing party supporters at Okpara Square, Enugu State, in continuation of his nationwide campaign. Onotu Yakubu reports.
Atiku Abubakar arrived Okpara Square to seal off the PDP presidential national campaign rally in the southeast geopolitical zone. To charge the atmosphere for support base, the former vice president said he has dreams for aggressive and robust industrialization of Nigeria.
I am going to be the stepping stone to an Igbo presidency. And I mean it. And I mean it. Whether an Igbo man is from the southeast or from the south-south, it is the same race. And today, my running mate is an Igbo man. I believe the development strides that have been achieved under the PDP nationally and Enugu will continue.
National and state party stalwarts also lend voices to the call for PDP in Enugu to further consolidate on the good foundation that has been laid over the years.
Since 1999, we have been doing it. And this is not going to be a different case.
Go all the nooks and crannies of our communities and urge our people to come out and speak in one resounding voice.
He is ready to carry everybody in the ship, and everybody has a sense of belonging.
Atiku Abubakar and his team earlier held interactive sessions with political and youth groups in Enugu after a courtesy call on Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi at the government house. From Enugu, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Similarly, an end to poverty and provision of basic infrastructure to the people of Rivers State are all part of promises the presidential candidate of the Action Democratic Party, Yabagi Yusuf Sani, will fulfill if elected as Nigeria's next president. Yabagi Yusuf Sani made other promises when his campaign team went to the Okujagu Island in Rivers State, Port Harcourt, where he also advised the people to vote wisely and hold him and the party accountable if they fail to deliver on the mandate.
When we form the government in this country, like I said before, I'll repeat it, this place, this very island, will be one of those places that will rejoice. Amen. Definitely be linked with means of access to the city, that is a bridge, and any other means of infrastructure that you need.
Yes. The presidential candidate during his rally flagged off the governorship campaign for the Action Democratic Party governorship candidate in Rivers State. You're watching the Network News at 9. Time for a break. Please stay.
It's your turn. Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. Your turn.
With Glow, bonus no dey finish. Buy a Glow SIM and enjoy 10 times airtime bonus on top every recharge, plus double data bonus on all data plans.
Nigeria, we country, APC, not the party, now one man be a choice.
At last, the elections are here. Let's turn out en masse on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president of Nigeria for a renewed hope and a better Nigeria. Vote APC, the party that shows a broom.
Enjoy 50% discount off in the Airtel Home Broadband Season of Love offer. Buy a router for just 10,000 naira and get up to 240 gigabyte, or a MiFi for 5,000 naira and get up to 125 gigabyte bonus data. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
There is an outbreak of diphtheria in Kano and Lagos states, which is fast spreading. So far, 38 children deaths have been recorded. Children who are not immunized against diphtheria are at higher risk of contracting this deadly disease. Diphtheria spreads easily through direct contact with infected persons, droplets from coughing or sneezing, and contaminated clothing and objects. Symptoms of diphtheria include fever, runny nose, sore throat, cough, red eyes, and neck swelling. We can prevent our children from dying by getting them fully vaccinated and protected against diphtheria and other vaccine-preventable diseases. Please visit the nearest primary healthcare facility and other health facilities today to get your child immunized. Immunization is the right of every child. Remember to keep your child's immunization cards safe. Vaccines are free, safe, and effective. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and partners. For further inquiries, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 7722.
The truth untold. We restored democracy. We initiated due process. We created the EFCC and ICPC. We brought Nigeria out of debt by achieving $18 billion worth of relief and $30 billion overall reduction. We revived the rail system. We upgraded agriculture. We brought in the mobile phone and digitalized Nigeria. Under the PDP, the Nigerian economy was the strongest in Africa. Though Nigerians made their choice, today we all know better. Nigerians, do not despair. Hope is in the horizon. We are putting in the work and refreshing our drive to rescue and rebuild Nigeria. Together, let's make it happen. PDP. Power to the people.
Just a moment. The refrigerator. Hello?
Sunday! Sunday!
Yes, my guy.
Come. 1,000 naira. Buy me Airtel recharge card. You have what I said. Thank you. Hey! Sunday don't finish me. I say 1,000 naira recharge card. You carry 8,000 naira of my money, go load them. Because money there your hand, Abi.
Oga, no. As I load the 1,000 naira, I use Airtel over Jara, turn them to 8,000 naira, just like that.
8 times the value of any recharge, plus double data and 1,000 naira activation bonus when you buy a new SIM.
Sunday, go buy us. And make sure say they put over Jara for you.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
This is to invite the 67 newly approved licensees to come to the headquarters of the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) at number 20 Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, for the collection of their provisional approvals. Date Friday, 17 February 2023. Venue NBC Boardroom. Time 10 a.m. The successful licensees should come with a valid means of identification. Announcer Balarebe Shehu Ilela, Director General NBC.
Welcome back. The 22-member Presidential Transition Council constituted by President Muhammadu Buhari has been inaugurated to facilitate and manage the 2023 Presidential Transition Program. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who inaugurated the council, says President Buhari expects states to replicate the transition process. Mitari Ikpe brings us details.
This Presidential Transition Council is a product of Executive Order 14 of 2023.
This is the first time in our history that the federal government of Nigeria will be establishing a detailed process.
Its chairperson, Boss Mustafa, describes the council as a demonstration of President Buhari's commitment to hand over power to the next president and strengthen key governance institutions that support Nigeria's democratic process.
The Council shall have all powers necessary for the execution of its functions under this executive order and shall conduct its business in line with national ethics as espoused in Section 23 of the Constitution.
The Presidential Transition Council is now an institutional legacy domiciled in the SGF's office. It will provide a template for seamless transition of power from one administration to another. The Council will organize for the security of the President-elect and the Vice President-elect, including coordinating security briefings. It will organize the office of the President-elect, including staffing for the transition team. The Council will also coordinate the briefings of the President-elect, facilitate communication between the outgoing President and the President-elect, and prepare for the presidential swearing-in ceremony.
In my capacity as chair of this Council, I will do everything within my power to ensure we meet the expectations of Mr. President. I enjoin each of us to put in even more effort in ensuring the next administration receives every support needed to make an early and a quick start.
The Council hits the ground running with an inaugural meeting, and in the coming weeks, it will be preoccupied with ensuring that the next administration understands the reforms and legacies of the Buhari administration for continuity in governance. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
In other news, President Muhammadu Buhari has called for the lifting of the blanket visa ban clamped down on Nigerians by the government of the United Arab Emirates. The president canvassed this position during a telephone conversation with the president of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The Nigerian leader also condones Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan on the death of his mother-in-law, Sheikha Mariam Al Falasi, and important issues of mutual concern between the two countries also came up. He noted that recent bilateral relations generated by consular issues relating to the behavior of some Nigerians in the UAE have been ironed out, explaining that no country, including Nigeria, will condone criminalities and illegal behavior. The statement adds that President Buhari has expressed the readiness of the Nigerian government to apply necessary sanctions through appropriate judicial process against anyone identified to have committed criminal acts in the UAE. President Buhari also requested the resumption of the suspended operations of Emirates Airline in the country. assuring the UAE leader that the issue of Emirates funds was receiving appropriate attention alongside those of other foreign airlines operating in Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates the incoming Chief Executive Officer of the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, Nigeria's Dr. Muhammad Ali Pate, saying he looks forward to working closely with him to strengthen the nation's health system and on other global health issues. President Buhari described Dr. Pate's rise across racial and other barriers to become the first black African to lead Gavi as a very important historical moment, not only for him personally, but Nigeria and Africa as a whole. In quote, "Our hope is that Dr. Pate will bring his knowledge, expertise, and very rich experience in the administration of vaccines and immunizations in Nigeria and many parts of Africa to increase access to vaccines to further reduce the disturbing levels of child mortality on the continent and all over the world, as his job requires. Congratulations, Nigeria is proud of your achievements." End of quote. Now, it was the turn of the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, at the ongoing PNB scorecard series, which he has remained moderator, taking the stage to give his scorecard since he assumed duty in 2015 to date. Anthony Forsin gives us an update.
With a mandate to manage the image and reputation of the country, it is equally saddled with the responsibility to promote the culture of the people and government. And so, Lai Mohammed narrated how, upon assumption, hit the ground running with a mission to help change the narrative by heading to the theater of war in the Northeast with about 40 journalists, both local and foreign.
The first thing we did on assumption of office was to embark on a process to change the narrative on Boko Haram to reflect the massive progress that our gallant military has made in a short while. The visit was an eye-opener. We were armed with empirical evidence.
The Bring Back Our Girls group were not left out, as they were also taken to the theater of operation to see firsthand efforts of the Nigerian Air Force as they combed the Sambisa forest in search of the Chibok girls and other abducted citizens.
The decision to take them on the trip was a turning point in their perception of the efforts being made by the administration to rescue the Chibok girls.
In a move to bridge the communication gap between the citizens and government, the Ministry of Information and Culture launched the Town Hall Meeting Series, which provided a platform for direct government interaction with the citizens. And in a bid to project Nigeria to the world, there was a collaboration between International Press Institute to successfully host the 2018 World Congress in Abuja. Interaction with foreign media got a boost, as it helped in improving Nigeria's image and create better understanding to the outside world.
The interactions with the global media in London and Washington enabled the ministry to provide them with first-hand information and background briefings about topical issues in Nigeria. A critical component of the interactions is the side meetings with international think tanks. These interactions have been invaluable, especially in policy formations in global capitals with regards to Nigeria.
Apart from regular media engagements, media tours were embarked upon to sensitize the citizenry on government projects across the country. Against the background of Nigeria missing the analog to digital broadcasting, in 2016, the project was relaunched and is progressing steadily. Nigeria hosted the UNESCO Global Media and Information Literacy Week, just as the ministry played a crucial role in the case of P&ID versus Nigeria, to mention a few. On culture and tourism, Nigeria fared well. The creative industry equally got a boost. The National Council for Arts and Culture played a central role in the period under review. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Now talking education, Kano State government will leverage the spike in the enrollment of students in its primary and secondary schools to provide the products with tertiary opportunities as a way of driving the knowledge economy in the country. This is coming from the state governor at the presentation of strategic documents on the conversion of Saadatu Remi College of Education into University of Education, Kano, to the National Universities Commission. The commission, in turn, presented approval of the establishment of the university.
Our certain commitment is to contribute to developing the human resources needed to drive socio-economic growth and development in Kano State and Nigeria.
The Commission is currently involved in its most ambitious project in recent years, that is rewriting or reviewing or re-engineering the university curriculum. For the first time in over 40 years, we are now effectively and comprehensively reviewing the curriculum, asking questions, the relevance of what we have been teaching.
Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports that this brings to 61 state-owned universities in the country, with Kano having 3, while Saadatu Remi is the second University of Education in the north. Meanwhile, the federal government has launched the National School Security and Emergency Response Coordination Center. Abdurrahman Usman Jabrila reports that the center is situated at the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps headquarters in Abuja.
This edifice and vehicles equipped with the state-of-art security gadgets can access all schools across the nation, aimed at safeguarding students from attacks as recorded in previous years. Vulnerability survey conducted by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in 2021 gave the idea on the initiative.
I appreciate the Prime Minister of Finance for ensuring appropriate provisions to enable the smooth takeoff of this critical national security assignment.
Further, the government is ready to accelerate the implementation of the priorities identified in the Safe Schools Plan with the resources already provided for in the 2023 fiscal year budget.
Mr. President is very much concerned about the future of our children. He is very much concerned about the education of every Nigerian child.
Knowing how to react and respond in time of crisis to keep the students and staff out of harm's way is just a strategy to enable trained security personnel tackle the situation if they respond promptly.
Adequate financing and prompt release of funds for effective safe schools is what the federal government is assuring for educational development. In Abuja, Roman Usman Jibrila, NTA.
Looking at other issues now, the era of releasing funds for projects across ministries, departments and agencies without accountability seems to be over. This came to the fore at the official launch of the National Policy Document on Monitoring and Evaluation. Ngozi Technical reports.
Getting women to the background in decision-making corridor is a continuous advocacy. Over time, certain women, either through natural endowment or economic empowerment, have made breakthroughs in several spheres of human endeavor, from the towering to the least figure of the women folks who work tirelessly to keep the wheel of the economy moving. The policy will, among other things, address the several WE project funds not monitored over the years.
We need a strong culture of accountability and transparency in our country.
Key players driving the policy include Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Development Research and Project Center, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, and supervised by the federal government.
Government will be able to better coordinate around how different ministries, departments, and agencies are working to assess their programs and interventions, and also how to measure their impact.
For us, the gender dimensions are very important, and the lessons that we have learned with Powered has been one of the pillars, for this intervention.
A national M&E system in the plan will facilitate the tracking of plan implementation, effectiveness, and identification of bottlenecks for early resolution.
So it's a policy that I am happy to take back to the Federal Inland Revenue.
The policy tagged IMAC is a mobile application which enables the public to monitor and provide feedback on federal government programs and projects. In Abuja, Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
The federal government has enjoined the subjects of traditional rulers to respect and give necessary support to the traditional institution to ensure the growth and development of the emirate. President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Zubairu Dada, stated this at the coronation of Sarkin Sudan of Kontagora, Muhammad Barrow Muazu in Niger State. Husseina Musa reports.
The search for the seventh emir of Kontagora started after the demise of the late emir Saidu Namaskar on the 7th of September 2021. After a selection process by the kingmakers, the crown bearer in person of Muhammad Barrow Muazu was presented appointment letter on the 7th of October 2021. The coronation was, however, delayed due to litigation on his eligibility to the throne. The judgment in his favor on the 7th of this month prompted his coronation. Thus, the call by the president on the subjects.
I would follow up by pleading with them to give him all the support and all the cooperation that he needs in order for him to succeed on the throne.
I believe this is another opportunity for the traditional rulers to uphold the confidence of the people and consolidate on the gains of your forebears by ensuring the continued peace, stability, and progress of our nation.
Leadership comes with responsibilities, which is why you must seek guidance from Allah in order to lead with fairness.
May the Almighty Allah guide and protect His Royal Highness in the discharge of his official responsibilities.
From Kontagora, Hussein Musa, NTA News.
The president of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, former Inspector General of Police, MD Abubakar, has called on the federal government, security agencies and INEC to intensify efforts towards a credible and violence-free election in all parts of the country. The former IGP stated that AANI had noted with great concern that the prevailing economic difficulties in the country have been aggravated by additional tension occasioned by perennial fuel scarcity and cashless policy, and must be addressed decisively ahead of the 2023 general elections. A statement by the Secretary of AANI, Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Usman, the former IGP, said the government must ensure that an enabling environment is created for Nigerians in all parts of the country to freely exercise their franchise, adding that reliable elections and a smooth handover of power would strengthen Nigeria's democracy and help it reach its full potential. And still from the presidency, President Muhammadu Buhari mourns the demise of Senator Abba, a friend and classmate, saying he has lost a valued friend. Until his death, the deceased was a member of the Federal Judicial Service Commission and served as the chairman of the Forum of Classmates that included the president and members of JSET from what is now the Government College, Katsina. In a tribute to the late Senator Abba Ali, the president described him as a complete gentleman who had a great understanding of issues. Now time to take a trip to Lagos, where Hingino is standing by to bring us more news. Hingino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ianri. Nigerians will gather at designated polling stations soon to exercise their civic responsibility of selecting candidates of their choice. How prepared are security authorities and the Independent National Electoral Commission in ensuring peaceful, fair and credible elections? Lynn Leneke reports.
On February 25, Nigerians will have the opportunity to exercise their rights to vote. As the countdown to the 2023 general election continues, preparations by the relevant authorities are in full swing. To demonstrate the level of preparedness of the Independent National Electoral Commissions, a mock accreditation exercise has been conducted. The process, which was a success, has been commended by many.
They are really prepared and everything is well organized.
There was no any delay in it. It is very fast.
Although INEC has pledged to hold free, fair and credible elections across the country, Nigerians preparing to exercise their rights to vote in a few weeks are hoping INEC will deliver on its repeated promises. In Lagos, security agencies are already working around the clock on strategies to ensure watertight security to achieve a non-violent exercise.
For the drawing board, we are as good as done, and just the deployment. So we are confident that the election security is going to be robust and it will guarantee free, fair and credible elections.
If the government is able to put a strategy in place to the extent that political talks and thuggery before, during and after election are caged, are tamed to the barest minimum, I can tell you with all audacity that 90% of electoral violence, electoral malpractices, electoral fraud would have been resolved.
Security authorities have also issued strong warnings to those intending to stir up trouble not to engage in activities that could jeopardize the peaceful atmosphere during the elections. Voters, on the other hand, are not relenting in playing their part in ensuring a smooth process. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Nigeria to explore the full potentials of digital economy, there is need to place premium on data protection to guarantee investors' confidence and create more opportunities. The National Commissioner and Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Data Protection Bureau, Dr. Vincent Olatunji, said the agency is working to provide 50,000 jobs annually over the next 5 years for data protection experts. Joel Popola has details.
The Data Protection Bureau, which was formally established on the 4th of February 2022, is mandated to protect data and privacy of Nigerians, among other salient responsibilities in line with international conventions. Since inception, the National Commissioner and Chief Executive Officer of the Bureau, Dr. Vincent Olatunji, says the Bureau has raised the level of awareness as well as rights of citizens when infringement occurs. The agency, which is under the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, within a year generated a revenue of 94 million naira from issuance of licenses to data protection companies, while the data protection segment of the digital economy is valued at 5.5 billion naira.
In Nigeria, we don't have up to 10,000 experts in data privacy and protection, leaving a huge gap of 490,000 jobs waiting for people. And that is why the issue of capacity building is really important to us. And our target is to have a pool of globally competitive data protection experts. I want to see how we can build capacity of at least 50,000 data protection experts every year for the next 5 years.
Dr. Olatunji notes that protection compliance of private sector is 49%, while that of public sector is still very low.
When we started, the first audit finding that we did for the first year, that is 2019-2020, we had 630 audit reports. The following year, we had a little over 1,000.
A draft legislation that will give legal backing for the Bureau to become a commission is expected to be sent to the National Assembly this month.
Time now for a break. But before then, do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates.
Shey you know say na offense be to do 2 or more business with 2 or more banks with the intention to avoid the duty of reporting the business arrangee. And if you no agree to tell the authority people, na crime. Shey you know say the law for Obodo Naija talk say person or corporate body must report any transfer of money to Naija or from Naija wey pass $10,000 to SCUMUL, CBN and Security and Exchange Commission. in writing inside one day from the day wey una start the business. The report must show the nature and the amount wey you wan transfer, plus the name and address of the person wey go receive the money. Skumul Tanda Gidigba to protect Nigerian business area. This message na from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The new Milo 3-in-1 Milky and Creamy is truly milky and contains calcium. So, no need to add milk for that rich, creamy cup, which helps to nourish and energize your kids. Milo 3-in-1 is such a smart choice. Milo, energy to go further.
From Nestle.
We are committed to the unity of our great country, Nigeria.
Let us support our armed forces. Let us stand together with them. Let us stand for them.
Our symbol of unity,
the gallant men and women of the armed forces
on land, air, and sea,
who have continuously put their life on the line, protecting our lives, humanity, and nationhood.
Let us join them and stick together as one, irrespective of
our misunderstanding, be it political, cultural, or ideological.
Our uniqueness is our oneness, our strength
is our diversity.
Let us stand by, stand with, and support our armed forces to keep this nation together.
Nigeria is my own, Nigeria is your own, Nigeria is our own.
Haruna, Bisi, Akpan, Unduka, how will I want to do on election day?
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, now broom I go put my hand over for Tinubu. On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, now broom I go put my hand over for Tinubu.
People of Nigeria, make we all come out on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Make Nigeria for better. Make you put your hand for APC, the party where show broom. Not forget oh, now broom you go put your hand in. Bam!
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, now broom I go put my hand over for Tinubu.
Welcome back. The Nigerian Navy operations will now tilt more towards activities aimed at creating perfect conditions for general elections to thrive peacefully. The Chief of Naval Staff to naval officers at an election sensitization briefing told them that they would ensure that elections are peaceful. Defense correspondent Najatu Tijani reports.
One might wonder what the Nigerian Navy has to do with elections. Well, apart from providing water logistics support, protection and transportation for INEC officials, keeping pipeline vandals at bay and other maritime operations, ensuring a peaceful election is everyone's business, says the Chief of the Naval Staff, who is reorienting naval officers in line with global best practices.
These supports, especially in the area of distribution of election materials, restriction of unlawful movements and other lawful tasks within the riverine communities, which is our domain. Gentlemen, more importantly, all commanders are to ensure that personnel are in possession of copy of the rules of engagement booklet.
Being apolitical, the Navy says this is one of the many ways it can ensure that the citizens it protects exercise their franchise for national unity. Najatu Tijani, NTA News.
It's time to talk business. We'll start by telling you that a more than 120-page report on mining governance, market for high-value minerals and revenue potential of Nigeria's mining sector has been released by the Nigeria Economic Summit Group in collaboration with Ford Foundation. Nigeria's mining sector governance landscape and prospects, a diagnostic report examines the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities for improvement of Nigeria's mining sector. Just as stakeholders say, it's time to walk the talk.
And we hope that with the investments of the Federation to the sector, from the 30 billion that was given by the President back in 2016, and then the portion of the Natural Resources Development Fund that goes to Solid Minerals Development Fund, it's about time that this sector shows some serious activity.
And still on investment, the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, says the country's level of resource mobilization is insufficient amid the urgency of conclusive growth and national development. To this end, the Commission is intensifying the mobilization of foreign direct investment and local direct investment by deploying strategies for effective implementation of investment promotion activities at the subnational levels.
With almost 180 IPAs around the world, competing to channel FDI to their different countries, a compelling imperative is established that NIPC is positioned to ensure that Nigeria gets a fair share of this global market. The commencement of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, now in force, makes it imperative for Nigeria to enhance its investment promotion drive and outclass other economies within the area, in order to remain the preferred investment destination of choice.
And take a look at the stock market. Nigeria's equities advanced by 0.24% as investors gained 72 billion naira amid increased demand in consumer goods stocks. At the end of trading, a total of 117.9 million shares in 3,617 deals corresponding to a market value of 5.6 billion naira were traded. Compared with previous trading day, today's data shows 26% improvement in volume, 80% improvement in turnover, and 2% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 29.7 trillion naira. BUA was the highest in volume, followed by United Bank for Africa and Access Bank Holdings. That is Business News. Network News continues after this break.